going on, family? Hey, I am back. But I'm back a little bit different this time. This time, as you can see in the description, that I will be explaining and using this information as research and jewels and tools for people to use moving forward when they want to study the bloodline and the obedience of Abraham. This is something that I researched many moons ago. That if you stay with me, I'll tell you through these different parts. At the end of the journey, I'll do a story time, and I'll tell you how did I get to this point that I did this information and got this research and went on this journey. Took me a while, a long time, many moons ago, on how I got this research and what led me to get this research and how I put it all together. And it was mind-blowing because the man Jesus Christ is who he said he is. And I'm going to show you through the obedience of Abraham all the way leading to Christ how it all comes together, how it all matches, and you're going to love it, I guarantee. But you got to stay with me. Now, I will be doing these videos in different parts because I don't want to overwhelm you with things, and I do want you to go back, do your research, put it all together. So by the time I post another video with the next part within this, because this is a long journey, but it's not, I broke it down so that it won't be so abstract, because I would like you to go back and look at it and kind of go through your own journey as you study. I will give you scriptures, but I will not open up my Bible and start reading you things. No, I would not do that, but I will give you scriptures so you yourself can do the research. You yourself can follow along, but I will give you pinpointed information, pinpointed people, so that you can follow along. Okay? So let's get started. So first person we're talking about Abraham. And I'm gonna use different colors because I want, if you need to use the board to look at, to go back and just say who was that person he said, or listen to me again, you can actually see it and you can hear it. So we're talking about Abraham. So let's put Abraham up on the board. So hope you can see this. Maybe we should use black. I'm going to use another color then. Use red. So, Abraham. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Okay, I'll make sure this big. Okay, now Abraham had a surname. Make sure you can see that. Abraham had a surname. Before it was Abraham, it was Abram. So we're going to put that in parentheses. And you caught me, see me looking at my cheat sheet, only because sometimes you got to make sure the spelling's correct, because sometimes the way it's spelled now, it wasn't spelled then, but Abraham is pretty simple and Abram is pretty simple, but I just wanted to double check. So, now Abraham, let's talk about his core family. The core family meaning mother, father, sister, brother, maybe niece or nephew, okay? So let's talk about that. So Abraham, the man, father. His father name was Terah. That's T-E-R-A-H. Spell that right here. Terah. Terah was Abraham's father. Now, his mother is unknown. So we're going to say N-A. His mother was unknown. The Bible, I looked in so many sources, and even the main source, which is the Bible, I did not find his mother, but that's fine. We have his father, it's good enough. And sometimes these things are male dominant, so you'll find the father, but you won't hear about who the mother was. But just to let you know, in this study, in this research, I have mothers. But his mother I could not find. Okay, his brothers, he had two. So we're gonna say B1. B1 is brother one. His oldest brother, which was Haran. Okay? Haran was his older brother. His youngest brother, you know what? Let me not say oldest and youngest, because I don't really know the order of the brothers, but I believe Haran was the oldest, and then came Abraham, and then his younger brother. But I'm not gonna stand on that. I just know they were his brothers. Then his second brother was Nahor. Nahor. Okay? So you have Abraham, you have his father, which is Terah. We don't know his mother. We know his first brother, or one of his brothers, is Haran, and his other brother was Nahor. Okay? Now, he had a nephew, if you don't already know. His nephew was Lot. L-O-T. His nephew was Lot. Okay? So his nephew was Lot, which was, Lot was the son of Haran. Now, unfortunately, before the journey of Abraham got going and he went through his journey of leaving his father's house, his brother Haran passes away. So we're going to put a D for he passed away. All right. Now, Abraham also was married. All right. So, Abraham's spouse, or his wife, now, he had multiple wives, but the wife that he loved, his number one, was Sarah. And she spelled it, they spelled it S-A-R-A-H. And she also had a surname, and I'm going to tell you why these individuals had surnames, because there's a reason behind it. So her surname was Sarai. If you didn't hear me, her surname was Sarai. Okay? Now, interesting factor about this that you may not know, but I want to explain to you in this first video is that his wife, first wife, was his half-sister because she also was the daughter of his father. I know you like, what kind of stuff is this? Well, you got to understand the time. In that time, they only, now let me back up. They did not marry other tribes on a regular basis. In some cases they did, and you'll find that out as we go through the study. But in some cases, in most cases, they did not. So Abraham's wife was also his half-sister, which was the daughter of Terah. Got that? Now, to prove that, we're going to move forward just for this factor. You can find this information in Genesis chapter 20, verse 12. Now, I'm not going to read that to you. I want you to go Genesis chapter 20, and you'll see, and this is before the explanation of who these people are. Let me start using another color too. Who these people are. That's the core family that we're going to be talking about in this first section, this first video, this first marker. So you have Abraham, you have his wife, his first wife, the wife that he was given to by his father, Terah. You have his brothers, Haran, which has passed away, Nahor, which is still living during the course of this study, and his nephew Lot, which was Haran's son. Now, these are the people that the Bible speaks about. Now, let's talk about wife number 2, but I call her more so the concubine than just his wife, because this is who he was given, and he took a concubine by the name of, give me 1 second out and I'll get out your way. Her name was Hagar. Now, Hagar, which was Abraham's concubine. But also, before she was his concubine, And she was, after she was his concubine, Hagar was his first wife, her servant. So we're going to put servant. I can't read this and I'm trying to be quick with it. I don't want to be long in this first video or any of the videos because I want you to get it and I want you to be able to go back and study and I don't want to overwhelm you with things. Okay? So, that was his second wife. So you know, so I'm putting the wives together, putting the family origin together. So then when we move forward, you'll be able to understand a little bit more. So now we have his third and final wife. So we're gonna put wife. And the reason I'm putting concubine because she wasn't really considered a wife, and these others actually were. I mean, she was mentioned as a wife, but more so as a concubine and a servant to his first wife. This one, I'm putting wife because it indicated that she was a wife. And some theologians feel that this person was Hagar, but with a different name. But we're gonna go with there were two different people. So his third wife or his second wife, whichever one you want to call it. You don't want to call this a wife and concubine or whatever. But we're going to call her, well, we're not going to call her, this is her name. Her name is Keturah. So that's Keturah. So Keturah, excuse me. So Keturah, she's very important too. Now, he did not marry Keturah until many years later after his wife Sarah passes away. So he was only married to these two women at the same time, but there was a situation with this concubine that we'll discuss and we'll explain. But his original wife is Sarah, which is surnamed Sarai. So her first given name is Sarai, and then later on her name changed to Sarah, and we'll go through that. His second wife or concubine, however you want to put it, was Hagar, which was his wife, first wife, Sarai or Sarah, her servant. And then his third wife was Keturah. Keturah was his wife after these two wives were no longer in the picture. And I'll tell you why and why they were no longer in the picture. Now, that's the origin of the beginning of Abraham, who his father, his brothers were, his nephew, his wives were, right? Okay. Oh, and this Keturah, you'll know that this is his wife. And when he married her, because of Genesis, you can find this in Genesis 25, chapter 1. I'm sorry, Genesis 25, verse 1. Okay. So, moving forward, as you study the book of Genesis and the section of Abraham, which starts as Genesis 17, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I believe it's Genesis 17. Abraham was charged to leave his father's house. Leaving his father's house was to leave where they were, in the country that they were in and came from. He's originated and born in Haran. So, put that right here. So, he was born. This is Abraham now. He was born in Haran. I'm sorry, Ur. He was born in Ur, which is in Chaldees. So let me put that spell right. Chaldees. So this is the area where he was born. From where he was born to where him and his family traveled, they traveled actually to another part, which is called Haran. Just like his brother. So, Haran. All right, so now they're in the country, or however they put it, of Haran, okay? So all of these people, well, not all of these people, Sarah, Abraham, his father, his brothers, his nephew, and their people were in Haran. They had traveled to Haran. They were on their way from Ur. They were on their way to the land of promise, but they didn't really know it was the land of promise, and that's the land of Canaan. But they got stuck for whatever reason in Haran. Now, as you move on with the story, Abraham was charged to leave. He heard a voice. He said, leave your father's house. I want to take you to the land that I will show you, the land of promise. Right? That land of promise was Canaan. So when Abraham departed, so we're going to put it over here. Oh, let's put it over here. So when he departed, departed out of Haran. He departed out of Haran. We're going to talk about his age. He was 75. 75 years old. 75 years old. Now, in his day and time, that's an old man. But based off the quality of life, quality of living, what they ate, the duration of life, you can even study this when you study that culture of people, even a lot of people who are from those areas, based off how they live and what they eat, they live a lot longer than people in our country. They live to be 110, 3, whatever the case may be, because of the quality of eating. Now, if you mix the quality of eating with how their air was, now we have so many fumes in the air from manufacturer companies and things like that. The quality of air now would probably choke them, and their air probably would choke us because it's so pure. So the quality of air plus plus what they were eating, they lived a lot longer. So he probably was 75 years old, but probably was in a body of a 35-year-old man or a 30-year-old man at that age. But he was charged to leave. And that is in Genesis 6. That's supposed to be a G. So Genesis, what was that? Genesis 12 and 4. 12 and 4, he was charged to leave. So, talk a little bit about that. So he was charged to leave, and who Abraham took with him was not his brother Haran. Why? Because he had passed away. Not his mother, because we don't know who his mother was, but she probably stayed with her husband. But he took Lot. His nephew Lot wanted to go with him. A few members of their tribe wanted to leave and go with him. He took his area of the people with him, and he took his wife. Now, concubine and his wife number 3 had not came to pass yet, but he took those 2 people of the core with him, as well as the section of people. Now, you have to understand, what people don't really talk about a lot about Abraham is that Abraham was rich. He was already a wealthy man. He was an extremely wealthy man before he left his father's house. Before he left his father's house, he was a wealthy man. They were shepherds. They had their own land. They did answer to the king of the area, but they were of the wealthy people of the area. A lot of people don't talk about that, but I definitely want to put that jewel out there that Abraham was never a poor man. He was always a wealthy man. So that jewel, I want you to know that he was a wealthy man. So in this first video, I just broke down the generals of Abraham, who he was, a little brief of who he was, and his family members, core family members, and the departure of him being in Genesis 12, and that's when his journey started. And in my second video, so you got to stay tuned. Please stay tuned. There will be a second video. I want to explain to you the next step and the next part of Abraham's life, and it's pretty deep. And I want to take this all the way. Like I said, I'm taking step by step, video by video. Because I want you to understand it. I want to break it down, and I want you to know and follow along and be able to research yourself about the journey of Abraham. But you need to know in this part of the understanding, you need to know who these people are right now, get a mind of them, and know that Abraham departed from his father's house. He was not afraid. He had to step out on faith. He was given a charge, given a call through the voice of the Lord to leave his father's house at this age, 75 years old, which is not the same type of 75. It's same in years, but body structure, body feeling, what you eat, all that stuff that plays a big part in how healthy he was at that, because I'm definitely going to break that down. But I'm going to break down who their children were and what impact they play in this journey as we move forward in this section. But you guys stay with me. Family, please stay with me. I'm telling you, it's going to be very interesting. It's mind-blowing. And like I said, this is not a Bible study. This is more so of research information. If you have any comments, put them down there. I know I'm going to have my trolls. It's going to be declining, but I feel like this. If people can say their feelings on what's not, I can say what is and what I believe and what I've done my research to prove to you. All right. So this is just general facts. You can do this research yourself. I did this biblically. Now you can go on Google and you can just find this stuff. That's fine. But if you want to know the pinpoints of where and really understand the story, you have to read. So that's why I gave you this core. And it's more so like an assignment. But like I said, this is research information that I want you to go back. And you can move forward as you want to, but I will go step by step, video by video, because I want you to learn, I want you to understand. And you know what? I was charged to do this, so I'm going to do it. So, yes, so we're going to pause right here. And when we come back, I'm going to explain to you and give you a synopsis on his children through these people. And then from their children to the next set of children from Abraham, and give you that generation, and how they played a part in this amazing upblowing and bloodline leading all the way to who we call the King, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, Jesus the Christ of Nazareth. And I guess I'll see you next time on part number 2 of the bloodline from the obedience of Abraham leading to Christ. See you next time.